So, what's up, you guys? I hope you're having a great day and are also as excited for UFC 313 as I am. In this video, I will give you my prediction of the main event and also explain why. So, Alex Pereira is set to defend this belt for the fourth time, and it will definitely be his toughest test in Ankalaev. So, most people are predicting Pereira to do to Ankalaev what he did to against his previous four opponents. Now, personally, I think that Pereira should in fact beat Ankalaev if we're going purely off the last few fights, where Alex is on a 5-fight win streak with 4 finishes, whereas Ankalaev is technically on a 13-fight win streak if it weren't for the no contest against Walker and the draw against Blachowicz. The fact is that Alex finishes fights, whereas Ankalaev's fighting style seems to be more on beating his opponents on points. Now, I've just spent the last few minutes rewatching that second fight of Pereira against Prochaska, and I've gotta say, it gave me chills, man. The way he dropped him at the end of the first round, then he proceeded to drop him again at the start of the second round and follow up with some nasty ground and pound. He literally gave him that concussion special. Now, to give some props on Ankalaev, he did manage to get himself back to a title fight after sending Walker to the Shadow Realm and beating one of the best strikers in the light heavyweight division in Rokic. Now, to be fair, Rokic is kind of like the Leon Edwards of the light heavyweight division. In I feel like his fighting style is not based like he lacks aggression and forward pressure and all only relies on like his sparring sessions that he had per se. And now what stands out in the fights of Ankalaev is obviously his boxing skill, which is how he gets most of his finishes. And along with his Dagestani wrestling, he's sure one of the best in his division. Now, the only problem with the boxing stance in MMA is, like particularly his boxing stance, is that it leaves him open for leg kicks, which is obviously what Blachowicz used to his advantage in their fight. Like you can see, like Blachowicz came in with the perfect game plan from rounds 1 to rounds 3. He was piecing up his legs, and the Ankalaev really struggled with that and had to go to plan B per se, so to say, it's wrestling. Now, to beat Pereira, I think Ankalaev needs to implement his wrestling, which will open up the strikes on top. But if he decides to just stand with Pereira, this could be a very short night for him, since we know that Pereira most just needs one opening to finish the fight. Now, another thing about Ankalaev is that the longer a fight goes on, the better he gets. You know, we saw this like he has good, it's a high fight IQ. We saw this against Blachowicz when like he was basically forced to use his wrestling, right? And that's what edged him out, like in I guess in the split decision draw. Like he didn't win the fight, but it's better than losing. Now, if Ankalaev can get Pereira to the fourth or fifth round, like I can see it going in his favor because like if you see glimpses in the Johnny Walker fight, like in the first one, where he had a Walker, I think, hitting a slip, falling down to the ground on the canvas, and Ankalaev almost took his back right there. So that's definitely a danger that Pereira needs to watch out for. You know, he's even though he's considered a striker, Ankalaev still has very good grappling. You know, he comes from the famous region in Dagestan where obviously all the guys there have good wrestling, good grappling ability. Now, with all that being said, I still lean more towards Pereira. Like just with all the momentum he's got right now and the constant improvements he's been able to do in his short time in the UFC so far, especially with an experienced former champion like Glover Teixeira by his side. Like I think he should get the job done just based on his last four fights. I mean, all finishes, like three of them in the four in three of them in the first round. So yeah, my final pick is I think Pereira got this one.